What do these films have in common? Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist, Carrie, The Silence of the Lambs, Teeth, and Midsummer. Oh, did you say that they're all horror or horror-adjacent films that capture the viscera, disorientation, and objectification that is inherent to a woman's experience? Because I was going to say that they were all written and directed by men. I've been thinking about this phenomenon ever since I read this New York Times feature that was celebrating the 50-year anniversary of The Exorcist's release. In this feature, they collected headlines from 1973 and 74 detailing the hysteria, really, that broke out around the movie. One excerpt that I found particularly interesting was a movie theater employee saying, anecdotally of course, that most of the people who were fainting and throwing up as a response to the movie were men. And it got me thinking about how there probably was, and to some extent still is, this added layer of cognitive dissonance men experience when seeing something like The Exorcist. Because they're seeing this young woman vitriolically spew profanity, behave in a way that is overtly sexual, and be overall grotesque, disgusting, and on a societal gender performativity level, that isn't what a woman is, let alone a girl. But as a woman, and a woman who has been having discussions with other women about this topic, I think that being a woman is visceral and grotesque in a way that we've been taught to ignore and conceal. Someone I spoke to recently said that she literally wakes up in the morning and wonders how her body is going to revolt against her today, almost like Reagan in The Exorcist. But this isn't just biological inevitability experienced by cis women. It impacts the social, interpersonal, gender performativity of all women. Constant invalidation, having to assert yourself and your cognition over and over, fitting into a narrow idea of what it means to be a woman in the first place, trying to push past the idea that all you are is your body and how it services others, and, in the worst cases, violence and abuse. All of this, the unspoken horror of womanhood, is something that I've been interested in speaking for as long as I can remember. And that's what draws me to the perverse films that dare to speak it. Rosemary's Baby was like my Barbie. But to circle back to my initial point, these narratives were not told by women. A man's lens, both figuratively and literally, was used to capture these films. So it's a little bizarre and worth pressing on how these movies can make me feel so seen in my womanhood, despite the fact that women are not telling the stories. There's the possibility that these have just been happy accidents, but in many cases, these filmmakers have gone on record saying that they were, in fact, intending to make a woman's story. Or, there's a troubling possibility, do I say? Do I dare? Maybe, to some extent, men are best able to empathize with and express the feminine experience using the language of violence. Maybe it takes depicting a violent caricature of a woman's experience for a man to depict it in a way that feels true. Maybe the minutiae, the subtleties of navigating the world as a woman just isn't enough. In a way, by telling these stories in the way that they do, the filmmakers are performing their gender. But if I think about that for too long, it makes me want to scream at the sky and throw up. So I don't know if the point I'm making is actionable or if it should be actionable, but I'll say that this is a call for women to start making horror movies. I will eat it up.